I'm getting my workout today.
Hey, show them fancy tool I made you.
My fancy tool. So we couldn't find our proper tool, so he took one of the saws and sheet metal, welded it together, made me a nice chisel. Makes light work.
He likes his new bed.
He loves his new bed.
The bed actually has a 300-pound rating. It's made to hold 2 dogs, so I stood on it to check it to make sure it's all good for him. So we are finally getting to do the wall. I've been wanting to do this for years. I wanted to do an accent wall with old rustic lumber, and I finally have a chance to do it. I've been really excited to do it, but we had to get everything up first, get all the wiring in, all the insulation, all the boring stuff. This is the fun stuff. And I just happened to come across all of this old barn wood that they actually had spray foam on the back of it. So that's what you see Emily's doing. She's knocking all the spray foam off the back of it. This stuff's gonna look really cool up there. It's been a long time. I actually drew up plans for wanting to do this a couple of years ago and showed it to Emily when we finally got a shop, how I wanted to set it up to have a cool background for filming that was also functional for woodworking and everything that I do. So seeing it finally come to fruition.
Them hard big words.
Yeah. So finally seeing it come true has been pretty surreal. I don't know if y'all saw the video where I got, how many pieces did we get?
Way too many.
They had a bunch of shiplap clearanced out for $250. It was normally $15.90. So I bought every single one they had. And my original plan was to take a bunch of different stains, stain it, make it look aged, and do different colors and stagger it around. Then we came across this rustic lumber. Now I don't think I have enough of this rustic lumber to do the entire wall all the way from end to end, but I know I have enough of it to do from here up. So I think I'm gonna do the large 12-inch or 11-inch wide pieces here, and then maybe stagger some of them in with some of the new wood that we're gonna take, and I'm gonna show you how to stain it to make it look cool and aged and different tones and different colors. But we'll get that done. And yes, I know we're not leaving these cabinets like this. I know they're ugly. I know they don't match. I have plans for those to make them look industrial and cool, but that's gonna be later on down the road. We just need to get this done so I can get back to work and start having income coming in instead of just spending my income that I don't have coming in. So we had to make a quick run to the store. You can see how it's curved. I originally was just going to use trim nails to put it up on the wall, but with it being curved like that, we really need to try to suck it into the wall as much as we can. So I decided to get some black screws to do that. Let me tell you, the last couple of months, we've been coming across just great deals. It seems like everywhere we go, just what we need is on sale. It's been amazing. So we went to get some black screws. I was just going to buy a small box, but they had 10 pounds of screws clearanced out for 10 bucks. They're normally like 40 or 50 bucks. So I'm set on screws. Now these aren't all the same. There's some deck screws in here. There's some drywall screws. There's 2-inch. And I bought a bunch of small boxes. They had small boxes of nails clearanced out for $1 each. So I got a handful of those just so I can put them in a bin. If I ever need them, I have them here. Metal tapping screws. Different length metal tapping screws. Trim screws. Different length trim screws. Small coated nails. I was just covering all this, all the deals we keep coming across and all the screws I bought. They're probably watching this video going, what the hell is it? Who's got enough screws to last a lifetime? Build a whole house.
Well, we're eventually going to build a shop, so.
Yeah. And we actually, all the other boxes of screws that we had this size and bigger, the big 5-pound boxes, we've already blown through all those doing all this stuff. So we're set on screws for at least a little bit. Y'all want to see how good this sign turned out that I'm working on? I need to get the extended track so I could do bigger ones. I had to do these in sections because my laser does not go that wide. So I had to cut them down in sections. But yep, so plan is to paint all these, make them look metal, maybe put some rivets in them. I've got some other ideas for the backing that's going to be for it. All right, let's get to putting these boards on the wall. Probably going to time lapse through this so you're not bored, but just we're going to try to be as delicate as we can and put screws in here to try to suck that board towards the wall since it has that kind of concave C shape to it so that every board going up's not doing this. May not be able to suck it out of there, but we're going to at least try. I think we can just because of how soft this is. I think it has a little bit of flex in it, but we'll see. Oh, I forgot to cover this. Y'all see where I just went through and I kind of hazed it with black paint back here? This is a good idea to do. It's probably not going to be as noticeable with us having a wood colored background. If you're doing an accent wall in your house, if you have a bright white or tan or gray behind there, it's going to stand out and be really noticeable. So take a few seconds, just hit it with a roller. You don't have to get right up against the edges. You don't have to tape everything off. Just get a little bit of darkness on there so that if you do have any spots that are showing through, that it's not going to be noticeable. All right, let's put some tunes on. Yeah, that's working good. That wood stove works. It says it's ready for 2,500 square feet. I believe it because it's cooking this 1,000 square feet already, and we just fired it back up when we got back from the store. Yeah, it's already 70 in here. Almost 70, just a hair under 70 at that end of the shop. Right here, I bet it's closer to 80 close to the stove. How amazing is that? And you could leave it just like this and it would be great. It'd be a great accent wall and be very rustic and it's unique. You cannot simulate this natural aged wood no matter how hard you try. I think I'm pretty good at making new wood look old and aged. I could never achieve this real. These splits and dried out spots and all these dried out knots and stuff, especially that one at the top, that's all real age and it is cool. So again, like I was saying, you could just leave it just like this and it'd be perfectly fine. But what I like to do is take some matte clear coat. They got these cool new nozzles. I don't know how long they'll be around for if they're gonna keep doing this. You can do a fan spray this way, fan spray this way. You can do a tiny spray, big spray, normal, or you can just turn it off. It's pretty cool. I've been enjoying using these. So what I like to do is go through and put some matte clear on it. That's gonna seal it up a little bit, but that's not the reason I do it. The reason I do it is because it brings out those natural colors even more. And you'll see that here in a second. And this wood is so dry, it's just gonna absorb it in. You may even have to do 2 coats, or you may have to go through and touch up the dry spots. Because certain spots are gonna soak it in a lot more than others. Stop right there. So you can see the difference. It's not crazy different, but it's just enough that it brings out more of the shading, so it just gives it a little bit unique look. But you can definitely tell the difference between having 1 coat of the matte clear on and not having. Again, it's just a preference. You don't have to do this, but I think it looks cool. And I just use matte. I don't use gloss. I don't want no shininess on here. I want to keep that age look, that dry look. Oh, our can's starting to run out. Can we make it to the end? We're going to get a foot from the end and not. Yep, we didn't make it. Bust out another one. Got a partial can left over. Let's see if there's enough just to finish this. There we go. How freaking great is that? I can't wait to get my logo right here. I think it's gonna be so cool. I think I'm gonna go through and go ahead and rip this board down. Since we're gonna be using narrow boards over here, I think I'll just rip all these down, make them a little more narrow. I think. We'll see. All right, so I'm at a point where I'm gonna start adding some of the new lumber, but we need to stain it, make it look aged first. I don't know if y'all can hear it or not, but it's pouring down rain out here. It's late. All of my spare wood is in the barn at the back of the property, so I'm gonna wait till tomorrow to go pull that out. For me, it'll be a night. For you, see you in just a second. Hey, come show them your new shirt. Dean Furniture Artist shirt, the new ones we got working on. You'll forget your short like your mama. All right, turn around. That's what I do. I fix stuff and I know things. That's my new shirts I got made for me. She just got hers first. I'm still waiting for all mine to come in. All right, so we are going to be staining these boards to try to make them look aged, to mix in with the aged board so we can have enough to fill in this wall. Constance is going to try out this gel stain by Fusion Mineral Paint. I already got the lid off, so I'm trying to be careful. It's double espresso. Then I'm going to be mixing several colors to get a unique look like I did on that steampunk piece. This is Driftwood by Fusion Mineral Paint. And we got a cappuccino ebony, so just black. We may not use very much black. We'll see how it looks. We're gonna kind of mix all these together and see if we can't make them look aged and old. You're gonna kind of have to be a little light-handed with this one since it's our first time using it.
So like Coke.
Yep, just barely on the tip. Don't dunk it all the way in. Yeah, I think that'll be a nice color. Just try to do one layer. Don't go over it twice because we don't want it too dark. So, and then we may even take one of these microfiber cloths and kind of wipe the excess off as well. Just get it a little lighter because we want it to look old and faded. So we don't want it to look like a solid color of paint. All right, we're gonna probably time lapse through most of this so I can put some tunes on so she doesn't get bored. Okay, this is a pretty simple process to make a new board look aged and old. I'm just going back and forth between the cappuccino and the driftwood gray and just putting it down in random spots. And then I'll take a little bit of mineral spirits on a rag and I'll kind of wipe everything off and kind of blend it together. What you're ending up with is if this board, say 50 years ago, was originally cappuccino, after it had been sitting outside or on the side of a building, it would start getting that kind of gray tarnished look to it. And that's all we're doing with the driftwood is kind of adding that gray kind of dullness to the cappuccino instead of it just being a very rich dark color. Just keep in mind, while it's wet, it's going to look a lot darker. And if you put a clear coat on top of it, the clear coat's going to make it darker as well. Now here's another way to make boards kind of look old and aged. I'm having Constance just use a single color on this one with a very light touch. And as soon as she applies the stain, she's wiping it right back off immediately. That's going to make the board look old and faded. Now, unlike the other one where we added the driftwood gray to kind of add that outdoor barn look to it, this one we're keeping with a solid color just so we can have some contrast on the wall whenever we cut these to different lengths and mix them all together. Okay, as you can see, we now have an assortment of colors. We have our real aged wood, and then we have just some different stain tones that we did to kind of make the wood look aged and old. Now we're going to start putting them on the wall. Now, since we had a small section here, we could put all of our boards in here the exact same length without having to have seams in them. We could have put seams in here and add a little bit more character. I decided not to. Just wanted to keep the solid piece all the way across. But since we're going to be spanning such a large space over here, of course, we're not going to be able to do that. Now we've got one long board in right here. We don't want to go through and put another board in the exact same length and end up with a seam going all the way up to the wall in the same spot. It just won't look right. We need a little bit of chaos to it. So we may put a seam here, we may have a seam here, we may have a seam here, so on going through. Now I know a lot of people, when they want to start doing something like this, they want to be very symmetrical, but just like if you talk to any flooring guy, they will tell you they do not stagger the flooring perfectly symmetrical because it doesn't look appealing. It doesn't look right when it's done. If you have a straight board seam, straight board seam, straight board seam, just visually to the eye, something about it just doesn't look right. So they try to stagger them out in lots of different patterns so you don't end up with that. So we're going to do the same thing with this wall.